guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Mia and this is my very first YouTube video and it's very exciting. I could sit here and be like, oh my god, it's my first YouTube video, oh my god, this is crazy, but I've actually done other videos and I have posted other videos. I've decided to delete them because I am reconstructing a way better plan for you guys and putting together my content a lot better. So we are basically restarting and this is a whole new channel. As you've probably seen the title, I am celebrating a year of being a reader. I have been reading for a whole year now, proper reading, and I'm obsessed with it. And I didn't think anything could be a better first video than doing it about my love for reading. How my year has went as a reader, because I used to be someone that hates reading and now I love it literally so much. I thought it was perfect to get into it with you guys and maybe convince some of you guys to start reading. It's the 13th of May, recording this video today. I'm not saying that this is like literally the day I became a reader. I don't remember the date. All I know is that it was the start of May last year when I started reading and fell in love with it. So we're just gonna go with that. This is the video chapters for this video. I know it looks like a lot, but it's all fun stuff and I'm so excited to get into it with you. Books is just one topic that I'm going to be talking about a lot. I love Taylor Swift. Peek the new Tortured Poets Department shirt I'm wearing. My sister got it for me from like Etsy and I'm literally obsessed with it. And I'm also going to be talking a lot about personal growth and all that fun stuff on my account. So yeah, if you're interested in anything to do with those three things, make sure you hit that subscribe button because I am going to be trying to post weekly and I've got so many ideas for you guys. Okay, so firstly I'm going to get into why I started reading and how I started reading, because it is something that has taken time, okay? To say the least, it has taken some time. Like I said, I started reading in May last year. I used to go to school, so technically I would be in grade 12 this year, but I dropped out of school in like March or April last year. I cannot remember, but it's one of those ones. I had a lot going on, my mental health got really bad, so I decided to drop out of school. And basically I dropped out of everything. I mean, I wasn't going to school. I had no sport I was doing. I used to play netball. I didn't have a job. I literally had nothing and I went into a bit of a rut, you could say. I was at home not feeling that great about myself, feeling really sad and just depressed and not doing anything with my life basically. I'd spend a lot of time on TikTok, of course, and I'd always see people coming up, what they're reading, everything like that, their TBR, all that stuff. And I have been someone, before last year, I did try and get into reading, but I never stuck to it, and it was because I was not picking the right books, okay? The thing about reading is we're all gonna have different favorite genres. Maybe some people love everything. I'm definitely not that. I have my stuck down genres I like, and that's what I worked out, which I will get into later in this video. But basically what happened was I did have a lot of books because in the past I had asked for books because I had always tried to get into reading. So then I decided to take the time, because I was doing nothing with my life, okay? So I decided to take the time every day and just try and read a book. Not gonna lie to you, the first few books I did read were Colleen Hoover books because I had asked for heaps of them for my birthday before I knew a little bit about Colleen Hoover and a few things that I'm not necessarily in agreement with. I don't really like her style writing. I have read about 3 of her books. I don't like it. I'm not gonna get into it, but I think they're all the same personally. But these were like the first books I read. And at the time I thought, oh my god, that is amazing. But reading it again now, I'm like, no. I literally do not remember the first book I actually read and I was like, wow, I'm in love. And it's actually really sad because I feel like I should remember something like that. But basically I started reading and I put myself to it, and because I had so much time, I did have so much time to try it. And I watched TikTok and I bought a lot more books that people were recommending. Just like that, I figured out what I liked and it just happened. I think one of the reasons why I also hated reading is because I think we can all agree that school books that they give us are terrible. Like, I'm sorry. There are not any books that I don't think I ever fully finished a school book that they gave me, but they were all bad. And that is the honest truth, okay? I wanted to start reading because I wanted to do something with my life and I know it's so good for me. And at the time I was that depressed, I was willing to do anything. And it is insane how much reading did affect my life. And not only did I become a reader, I also became a Swiftie, which if you want me to make a video on becoming a Swiftie, I will happily do that because I have so much to say about that. I also became a Swiftie at a similar time because I was just getting all these different new hobbies because I wasn't doing anything with my life. And again, one of the best things, it changed my life, and reading has changed my life as well. It's just insane how much can change in just a year. Like, I have a bookshelf sitting behind me. It doesn't look that great, but I have more up there, which looks a little bit more appealing, but I never used to have a bookshelf and I really wanted one, and I literally love it so much. Like, I literally stare at it sometimes because I'm so obsessed with it. Like, I never thought I'd be excited about a bookshelf, but I am. It's just crazy out here. That's a little bit about how it all happened for me, and you just need to give it a go. It is so important, which leads me to my next part of this video, why you should get into reading. Okay, the thing about reading is there are so many genres, okay? And if you're not that into reading fictional books, you can read non-fiction. And there's even self-development books you can read. I have not read this yet, but this is Atomic Habits, and it is all about an easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. And it's got all these little facts and stuff. It has been known to be really good, and not only are you reading and gaining more vocabulary words, but sorry, I thought someone was here. You are also learning stuff in this book. So even if you want to start to get into these sort of books, I really recommend it. I actually recently have just created a notes page on my phone, just on the notes app. And I basically, whenever I'm reading a book and I don't know a word, I won't just skim past it. I search up the word, the definition, and then I add it to that little notes page, my reading vocabulary page, because then I'm learning new words. And that's also the thing about reading. It'll extend your vocabulary and you'll learn so many new words. It's also fun because I've never been someone that's been that good at English. Like, I could not write a book. Like, when you used to have to write stories, I would fail, and I'm gonna be honest. I was never good at English, but I definitely think this has helped me to understand things a lot better. Not only my vocabulary, but just everything. And the things, like, it's crazy how books can just take you into a whole different imagination, and it's wild, and I can't explain it. You need to read books to understand it yourself. And it is so good for your mental health. I have so many days where I'm not feeling great and I'll pick up a book and start reading and I feel instantly better. If you're not enjoying the book, that's obviously not that great. You need to choose a different book. But if you're really getting into a book that you love, it's amazing. It is the best thing ever. Now, I'm going to quickly say this wasn't really a chapter part of this video, but my favorite genres are romance or romantasy. This is the thing about me. If it doesn't have romance in it, I will not read it. It is as simple as that. I've never been in a relationship at all, but I'm a hopeless romantic and I love love, and I love it so freaking much, and I need romance in books. In the whole year I have been reading and so many different books, I have only read one book that didn't have romance in it, and I rated it like, I think 1.5 stars or something, because I hated it so much. Not only was it didn't have any romance, but the storyline was just awful. In case you're wondering what book that is, it's The Midnight Library. I read this probably the end of last year or something. I don't even know why I picked it up, but it was just there and I thought I'd read it. And I honestly, if anyone enjoyed it, good on you, that is amazing, but I really didn't like it. I also think it could have been way better, but I just found it was so boring and so repetitive, and obviously didn't have any romance in it, so it wasn't my thing. Okay guys, so I'm going to go through my TBR for the rest of the year. I'm not calling it 2024 TBR since we are literally like 5 months through 2024 already. The books that I know are my top priority for this year, nothing else, even though I might go to the shops and buy more books. Anyway, so first book on my TBR is Part of Your World by Abby. I don't know her last name. I'm really bad at pronouncing stuff, so I'm not even going to say it. But I have been dying to read the series. I don't have it yet, but I do think I'm going to buy it on my Kindle, or might actually buy it a physical copy. But I also want to read the other standalones by Abby. I love her covers too. I think they are so pretty. That's definitely on my TBR this year. Binding 13. Yes, I want to read this series. I want to read this massive series. Little Mia would not think she'd be wanting to read this, like 800 pages or something. She wouldn't think I'd be wanting to read this, but I've seen everything on TikTok. Every person I know that has read it is obsessed with it. I have heard no bad reviews. The only thing with me, whenever something is hyped up really, really much, I always think that I'm gonna hate it. I get so nervous that I'm gonna hate it, and then I'm gonna be the odd one out. Do you know what I mean? Where Time Stands Still, the Evermore series, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I firstly only wanted to read this book first because of the cover. Second, because it's Evermore. The series is called like Evermore or something. Taylor Swift, obviously, okay? It just looks really cute. I'm gonna be honest with you, sometimes it does not take much for me to want to read a book. I am such a follower when it comes to books. I just want to come in with the trend and read the books that everyone's reading at the time. I want to read Caraval and the whole series. I know you're supposed to read this before you read Once Upon a Broken Heart, but I didn't. And I didn't know that when I read Once Upon a Broken Heart and that whole series, but it did not change how I felt about that book. As I will tell you soon, is my favorite series of all time, my favorite books of all time, we'll get to that soon. But I definitely need to read these, and I'm super excited to, but I'm also scared because I know it's probably not going to live up to how much I loved Once Upon a Broken Heart, but I still need to read it. I need to read the rest of the Shatter Me series. I'm up to Defy Me. I have so enjoyed it so far, which I will get into later in this video about it and stuff, but I just love it so much. The only reason why I'm taking a bit longer to read this second arc of it is because for me, when I grow such an obsession with a series or something, I just want to go slow. Like, it's so hard because I want to finish it, but I also don't want to finish it because then I'll be so sad that I finished such an amazing experience reading a book. Do you know what I mean? But I just know I'm going to cry when I finish this series because I've loved it so much, but definitely going to get back to this. But I definitely know I'll finish it by the end of the year. Ruthless Vows, which I'm actually considering to be my next read, actually. I've read Divine Rivals. Oh, amazing. I'll get to that when I talk about my 5-star reads, but yes, I need to read this. I need to read it. I need to see what happens next. It's as simple as that. So obviously I've read Powerless, and then I need to read Powerful, which is the novella told from Adina's perspective, and I love her so much. Definitely gonna get to this. And then after that, the second book for Powerless will be coming out, Reckless. It comes out in July, I think. Yeah, it comes out in July. So I'm so excited to read that, and I'm gonna read that like literally straight away. Nothing Like the Movies, which is book 2 from Better Than the Movies. I'm going to read this straight away when it comes out because I'm obsessed with book 1. It's amazing. It's all for my TBR for this year. It actually isn't that much. It's still a lot, but not that much. And the thing is, I always go to the shops and I'll buy another book, and then my TBR will just become longer. It's always growing. Okay, now one of my favorite bits of this video, I'm going to talk about my 5-star reads / 6-star reads, because some of them were just that good I had to give 6 stars. These are my favorite books ever. Okay, obviously I've only been reading for a full year, so I have a lot more to come, and the list will probably grow. I need to go through these books and talk about my feelings about them. Okay, so the first book, which I rated 5 stars, Better Than the Movies. All I can say is this. What a freaking book. This is amazing. It is like so high school coded. If you know, you know. Literally freaking adorable couple. Where do I even begin with this book? And Wes Bennett is literally like, I want him. It's as simple as that. I want him. He is literally adorable. I love the idea Lynn Painter went with this. She added music relations to it, and that was the whole point of it, because she's talking about all her favorite movies, movie soundtracks and stuff. Like, this book has inspired so much for me for like Spotify and stuff. It's literally insane, and I just really recommend it. I think it's a very not easy read, but like a good read too if you are getting into reading and you like romance. Read that book. I know there's also novellas that I need to read, so I need to get to that because I need to read more about it. But oh my god, I love it. It had me giggling and kicking my feet the entire time, which is what I love, and I need that. Okay, Divine Rivals. I am literally like this is 6 stars for me. Honestly, the idea of this book, first thinking of it with like the historical side of it, I probably wouldn't think I'd be interested in, but this is so creative. This is so beautiful, and there are a lot of amazing quotes that I got from this that I will keep forever. They are freaking adorable. Again, the connection, and I know some people are like, oh my god, the letters it's really cringy how they use letters to get the connection, but I actually love it. I love it so much. I actually love the whole letter enchantment thing. I just think it is so beautiful, and I am gonna read it again because I need to annotate it. It is a need, okay? I have never annotated books before, but I really want to get into it. If you want summaries of what the book's about, something, just search it up. I didn't really want to give summaries in case people have read the book and I'm just sitting here giving a summary on what it's about and stuff. I don't want to do that. Divine Rivals, I also think that name, everything about the book, I love. I really love Roman. He is real good book boyfriend material. I really like him. Do you know what I just realized? That you guys could potentially just be looking at an angle that entire time. My camera moved and it was like this. I'm so sorry. Alright, next book, which I gave 5 stars, Ignite Me, which is the 3rd book in Shatter Me. I love this series so much. It is not my normal cup of tea. I would not say I'm normally a dystopian person at all. So it was shocking that I really enjoyed it, to be completely honest with you. I went into this book only wanting to read it because of Aaron. I know, I've seen all the TikToks. Aaron Warner, one of the best book boyfriends, and honestly, people aren't lying because I am literally obsessed with him. I need him, I want him. He's just perfect. I can't even, like, he was the only reason why I went into reading the book, and he lived up to the hype even more. But also the storyline I ended up falling in love with. I think it was done so well. An unpopular opinion, everyone says Shatter Me, the first book, is their least favorite in the series, but it's actually really good to me. I really love it. I actually think it's a perfect introduction, not only for that book, but the entire series. I think it is such a good introduction. It gets you in preparation for what's ahead, and I honestly love it so much. And obviously there's not even that much, well, there is romance in the first book, but it's with Adam, and we don't really care about Adam. I also want to say I haven't even finished the series yet. Like I said before, I'm up to Defy Me, and going so slow with it because I don't want to finish it. I want it to keep going, and I love it so much, so I've been reading like little standalones in between. The reason why Ignite Me is my favorite though, it's just that's when Aaron and Juliet really get to it, and I love it. I love every second of it. I love the tension. Also love this book because they all get together and they also start to see Aaron as a not so bad person. It's just, this book is just when everything happens. That's all I have to say. It's just everything happens and it's amazing. Okay, next book is Powerless, which is 6 stars. It's 6 stars. Yes, indeed, it is 6 stars. Okay, I was going into this not thinking I would love it so much just because I thought it would be a bit more fantasy than romance. The thing is, there is no smut in this, and I love smut, I'm gonna be honest, I do. But it doesn't need smut, okay, because the tension and the chemistry, ooh, I'm an enemies to lovers girl forever. It's just, it's always, the chemistry is always better. It's like Lauren knew what BookTok wanted. She knew what we wanted and she gave it, all of it, and it was amazing. Kai, I want to marry him. I want him. He is just, I'm so in love. I'm so freaking in love. And as much as I hate the ending, I also love it. I like love it so much. Oh, this book, it kept me on my feet. And also the thing is with me, I get really judgy with books easily. Like if the first chapter's not good, I'm like, oh, this is boring. I want to stop reading. I want to DNF it already. But this first chapter itself was amazing. Like I was hooked from the beginning. It was so good. And as soon as Kai said darling, I was out. I was gone for it, and that is the truth. Everything about this book, the storyline behind it, Adina, I love Adina so much. It's definitely like Hunger Games vibes, but better in my opinion. Like I would love to see this as a movie. Hex, one of the saddest books I've ever read, but also the most beautiful love story ever. I was looking at TikTok too, and this was getting a bit of hate, and I was like, what? How is this book getting hate? It's the most beautifully sad, tragical, beautiful story. Obviously it ends good, so that's a spoiler, it ends good. Genuinely, oh my gosh, where do I begin? I was crying from like halfway through this book onwards. So a very true sort of story, and it was amazing, like this connection that they have, like it's nothing, it's like nothing else. It's just beautiful and magical, and I love it so much. X, which I don't have physical copies of, but I need to get physical copies because your girl needs to annotate these books. These are all, may sound dramatic when I say this, but these are like all 6-star reads for me. The Once Upon a Broken Heart series, you knew this was coming. Oh my god, where do I begin? Where do I actually begin for this? Thinking about it right now, like this is my favorite series of all time, my favorite books of all time. Stephanie Garber, thank you. I read all 3 of these books in 3 days. Okay, I read a book a day, yes, because I was so obsessed with it. I think I spent like 4 hours on the lounge one day just reading. The writing, there is something about Stephanie Garber's writing is just so beautiful and takes my imagination, creativeness to a whole other level. I'm honored to be able to read her work. Sometimes I'm that sort of person that doesn't always like the main characters, but I love Evangeline, adore her, and I think she's so relatable, and her character development, self-development is amazing. That's what also drew me to it, because she just made the main characters so good. And Jax, want him, love him. Obviously the first book there wasn't as much romance going on, but it had me giggling and kicking my feet with their tension. Done so well. The book ended perfectly. All the books, I genuinely would not change anything about any of the books. I don't care what anyone says, and it put me in a slump. Okay, after I read all 3 books, I'm like, I'm not reading for like a whole week, and I didn't read, I don't think for 2 weeks, because it put me into such a slump. The fan art of this too, I'm just going to show some of it too here. I want to be part of this world. I need to be part of this world. It is just so magical and beautiful. It's my comfort book. It is my favorite book. It is everything to me. Another sad book, guys. Read it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh my gosh. I literally ugly cried this more than I've ever ugly cried anything. I have videos of me, which I'm not going to post it here, but I recorded myself and I was a mess. I finished the book at like 1 a.m. or even 2 a.m. I was up so late finishing it, and the next morning I was still not okay. Like, I didn't get much sleep, I was bawling my eyes out, and then I woke up and I still was so upset. It is such an amazing book, and the story and the idea of it, like, I'm sorry, why did she make it such a cute cover? I thought it'd just be a cute little teenage romance. I did not realize it would tear me apart. Oh my gosh. She does this rainbow little cute hearts lovey-dovey cover. It's not. It's heartbreaking and amazing at the same time, okay? Just in shock that what happened. That is all I have to say, but it is such a beautiful story. Even though I don't recommend it, I do still recommend it. You need to understand what I'm talking about. Even though it will kill you and you'll cry for days, but it is so magical. Not magical, sad, but so beautiful. Just thinking about it puts me like in a really bad place. Okay, then we'll always have Summer, which I rated 5 stars. I obviously prefer the show way more than the books. But because I love the show so much, I read the books after I watched the show. It just has a comfort, it has a place in my heart no matter what. Summer and Pretty is one of my favourite series ever. And I know it can come off cringy to some people and like a bit basic, but I guess I'm basic. I don't care. I just love it and it has a special place in my heart. And I love the last book because obviously it's the best ending and everything's just so good. Love how she goes back and it's just when they're different ages and stuff, and I love the idea of them growing up together. I just think it's really cute. So freaking obsessed with the show, and it's just made me appreciate the books more. Oh, it's my people and I love them so much. My people, apart from Jeremiah. Everyone else is my people. Bye. I'm quickly checking my Instagram because we are up to the last bit of the video where it's a little Q&A and you guys ask me any questions that you have relating to this topic. So the first question someone asked me on my Instagram, what is one book you would keep to reread forever if you could only keep one? And then there was also a similar question that was, what's the one book you could read over and over and not get tired of? Now this is really hard for me because obviously Once Upon a Broken Heart, the series, is my favorite thing ever, but I have to choose one book. I think I'd have to do The Ballad of Never After though. I think I have to. Oh my god, that's hard though because I also have like Divine Rivals and all of that. The Ballad of Never After is part of a series. It's either Divine Rivals or The Ballad of Never After. I'm just thinking if I had only one book and I only had to reread it, I'm just thinking if I kept rereading The Ballad of Never After, I'd be so sad because I can't read the last book, The Curse for True Love. Divine Rivals also has a second book. Oh, okay, either way. Okay, I'm choosing The Ballad of Never After. I have to. Next one is, what was the first book that started your reading addiction? And I don't remember what was the first book. I remember The Spanish Love Deception was one of my first proper romance books that I read. And I really loved it, but I actually reread it recently and I didn't love it as much. It's still a very good book and I do really recommend it. I loved it at the time and I was like, wow, reading's really good. So that's that. What book would you recommend to a stranger? Probably Divine Rivals. No, do you know what? Because I'm giving it to a stranger. So I'm actually going to say Powerless because I don't know if they're into romance. I don't know if they're into fantasy. I don't know what it is, but this is just full on and it has a lot and it's got like a bit of mystery, I guess. It's got that Hunger Games vibe, so I feel like everyone would like this. If I'm giving it to a stranger, I have to think I don't know anything about them. Do you know what I mean? Okay, favorite series of all time. You guys know this now. Once Upon a Broken Heart. It's my favorite series ever. This is a really interesting one. What was a book that changed you? A book that had a big effect of your life / perspective. This is crazy. I don't actually know. I think I've had books that really affected me, but I don't know if it's affected me in that way. I remember reading 1,000 Boy Kisses and then I did think about being in a situation like that, and it did actually put a bit in perspective, like, oh my god, these things really happen. And even though this is just a story, it does happen. Oh, I don't even want to think about it. I can't. I'm trying not to spoil it, but I've literally spoiled so much of every book that I've talked about in this. But I definitely do think I would say this. It really, because I was so sad and I was like, why did I read that? Because this is true. And then I started thinking like my mum, if she got sick or something. Sorry, I just hit this camera so bad. Anyways, I put it in perspective, like, you don't know how long you have people, and this couple is so in love, and it affected me. Really, reality affected me. I think I'd have to say this book. Favorite and worst trope. Do you know what's funny is I've never thought about my least favorite trope. Favorite, enemies to lovers. I'm sorry, I'm just a sucker for it. I have to. So love that TikTok filter where it also has who did this to you as one of the tropes, and I'm a sucker for that too, which is also part of enemies to lovers, because that always happens. This is hard because I have a lot of different opinions about it. Because like office romance, because I had to just search up tropes because nothing came to my mind when I thought of worst one, but office romance, it's like, it's pretty typical, and I feel like there's too much of that sort of thing. Like we have The Hating Game, which I didn't actually like The Hating Game at all. I think I gave it like 2.5 stars. I really did not like it. I also don't think I'm a massive fan of the whole billionaire romance, I've realized. I don't know, whenever there's like a bit of money involved, it always changes the perspective of the relationship. So there is that. So I definitely think my least favorite would be office romance. Probably arranged marriage, because I think it's just so overrated. Like, I just think it's like, eh. With enemies to lovers, there's always something new. There's always something new and spicy that you never know it's gonna happen. I'm gonna have to say that. I don't really know what else. I can't say childhood sweethearts because Conrad and Belly, they're childhood sweethearts and I adore them. I don't think I'd say arranged marriage or office romance. I think that's what I have to say for that. If you agree or disagree, that is okay. Also guys, if you want to comment like your opinions on all the books I'm saying or whatever it is, please comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please don't feel like I'm gonna judge you if you've got different opinions than me. I literally don't care. We are all gonna have different opinions and that is completely okay. What makes it fun, okay? Because we all can talk about our different opinions. And next is top 3 books. I'm not actually gonna include Once Upon a Broken Heart because I feel like I can't, because I could say that they were all my 3 top books. Do you guys understand how much I love that series now? Because I'm literally talking about it so much. Top 3 books: Powerless, Divine Rivals, then Better Than the Movies. They're probably my top 3 right now. Even though I rated Divine Rivals and Powerless 6 stars, but I rated Better Than the Movies 5 stars. It's like different reasons why I give 6 stars. Sometimes 6 stars and 5 stars have the same meaning for me. Anyways, that is basically all for this video. I just wanted to talk a bit about it. I honestly had so much fun doing this. You guys have learned a little bit about me when it comes to reading and what I like. But I love you guys so much. Thank you. If you're sitting here watching this whole video, I really appreciate you. Like, that means the world to me that you're just sitting here watching it. Like, this is just a bit of fun. Let me know any video ideas you want me to do. They can have anything to do with books, Taylor Swift, personal development, anything to do with that. I'm honestly so excited to continue this journey with you guys and talk more about all my favorite things. Like, there's nothing better to do. Do you know what I mean? Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day and I will see you next video. Mwah!